Real ones with me, I know we gon' beat the odds. Yup. Counterfeit, guess it from the thought of it. People fake, think they need to start a kid. Tryna be real, this right here to start a kid.
Huge thank you to today's sponsor, Giant Snacks. Giants is a small family-owned business that specializes in premium flavor and giant snack sizes.
From sunflower seeds and pistachios, pumpkin seeds and cashews, Giants has all the great snacks you need.
Don't forget some of the great flavors that they offer, from dill pickle to sweet Thai chili.
Or whatever flavor you're craving.
Check out the newest flavor that just arrived in stores.
Big Easy cashews and Big Easy sunflower seeds.
Available now online or in a store near you. Huge thank you to Giant Snacks for sponsoring this podcast.
Now let's get back to the podcast. New year, new goals. If one of yours is to get stronger, we've got just the thing for you.
That's right. Meet Alpha Progression, the ultimate app for building muscle and tracking your fitness progress.
Whether you're at a fully stocked gym or just have some equipment at home, Alpha Progression creates a fully custom plan just for you.
It's like having a personal trainer in your pocket.
Go to alphaprogression.com/beyondthespotlight to sign up. And here's the best part. Our listeners get 20% off their first purchase.
Don't wait. Start crushing your New Year's resolutions with Alpha Progression now. Now let's get back to the podcast. Today's episode is going to be a little bit different than what we typically do. We'll be diving into something that's kind of difficult to talk about.
This episode will explore the experience of a police officer who has been involved in a life-threatening shooting.
As you saw in the title, today's guest is Brody Merrill. On April 15th, 2023, Brody responded alongside Josh Owen and Alex Olson to a routine domestic call. While the suspect was being placed in handcuffs, he took out a handgun and opened fire on Josh Owen and the other officers. Josh was tragically killed, and Brody sustained injuries, and Alex also was shot, and he had a pistol on his ankle, which blocked the bullet. So today we'll be talking to Brody about his story. Before we dive in, thank you to Giant Snacks for being an amazing sponsor once again and helping us share these stories, because it's important that these get out there. Thank you guys for watching. Let's get into the episode. Welcome back to the Beyond the Spotlight podcast, hosted by myself. My name is Jack.
And I'm Aiden.
And today we have Brody here with us. Brody, I have a little intro that I'm going to read for you. Today we have the honor of welcoming an incredibly brave individual, Brody Merrill. He has served his community with unwavering dedication and bravery. His courage and commitment is truly inspiring, and we are looking forward to hearing from him today. Welcome to the podcast, Brody. Welcome to the show.
So starting off, where are you from?
Yeah, born and raised in Thief River Falls, Minnesota. I went to high school there and did my schooling there at the Tech College for Law Enforcement. And graduated in 2014 from high school. Seems like forever ago. It's kind of crazy.
Yeah. You said they have a tech school there that
Yeah.
you graduated from?
Yeah.
Okay.
Northland College, or Northland Community and Technical College.
Is that a 2-year program?
Yep. Yeah, first year, and then second year is all skills stuff, skill-based and scenarios and use of force and all that good stuff.
So what'd you do right outside of college?
Well, I went and took the post test and then just started throwing in apps, different departments across the state. I was pretty determined to get out of Thief River and kind of spread my wings and fly a little bit.
Yeah.
So I just kind of started throwing in job applications everywhere, and it was pretty tough at that point to get a job because I didn't have any experience. And
was it a lot more competitive at the time? Like now, it seems like there's a lot of jobs available for law enforcement.
Yeah, now it's pretty. I think you can get a job anywhere. But yeah, I mean, it was pretty competitive. There was a few I did where it was probably 20, 25 guys there, and
Wow.
Here I am, just don't know what I'm getting myself into and no experience. And but yeah, ultimately I ended up interviewing a few places, got the rejection letter, and found myself applying for a part-time job in Pope County. And really just to activate my license is basically it, and then just to keep applying. But ended up spending 4 years there. So
Wow.
When did you first find out that you wanted to be a cop? Did you want to do that right out of the gate? Like in high school, you knew that that's what you wanted to do?
Yeah, ever since I've been young, there's always been desire to serve some way. I'm an adrenaline junkie. Like, that's kind of how I operate. So yeah, sitting behind a desk in a cubicle was definitely not for me.
Yeah.
My mom worked in at the police department, so I grew up around a lot of different officers, and I just remember, like, those are some cool dudes, and got to be pretty good friends with them. And yeah, it just kind of fueled my desire to do it. I didn't do it right out of high school. I just was like, I was certainly not ready at 18 to go be a cop.
Sure.
Or 20. And so I got my fun out of the way and then became a cop at 22 or 23, I think. So.
Okay. Can you share what your current role is with law enforcement?
Yeah, right now I'm a deputy sheriff at the Douglas County Sheriff's Office in Alexandria. Just my primary responsibility is just like patrol, take calls, traffic enforcement. It's a lot different than it was in Pope County because in Pope County you got a call, you took it and run with it from start to finish, and now it's like I get anything that requires investigation, we just forward it on to an investigator and they take it.
Okay.
So yeah, it's coming from Pope, learned a lot, but then I come to Douglas and you just take the calls and then kind of send it where it needs to go from there. So.
Right now, what is kind of the more fun parts about your job? What do you most enjoy?
Oh, there's a lot. The brotherhood, the camaraderie. It's just it's a unique environment, and
Yeah.
I think I like the challenge. I like helping others. Like I feel pretty. It feels good to help others.
Right.
And I'd say the fun part now is just like for me, it's like the unknown. I don't know what each day is gonna bring, and to me it just kind of leaves like the door open for some excitement. And like I said, I kind of like living, or I kind of like that. I don't want to say it. I like not knowing what my day is gonna be like. It's just different every day.
Doing something new every day.
Yeah.
Was there any moments like toward the beginning of your career in law enforcement that kind of solidified like this is what I want to do? Like I'm happy I went into this.
Yeah, I think in the beginning, like it was fun, exciting, as every guy likes to go fast and like stop every single person on the highway. That was exciting for me. As far as calls go, I for the first while I was part-time, so I was really just transport, and then the COVID hit, and then
Oh yeah.
it was just, I was not gonna lie, I was like sitting in my apartment playing a lot of Call of Duty, and it's me and my dog, and I think I had a futon and like maybe a pizza in my fridge, and but yeah, towards about May of 2020, that's when ended up getting an opportunity to work a bunch of hours, and then in October of 2020, I got offered the full-time position in Pope County. So
When you were working part-time, did you do anything else on the side, like work for any other major companies or
Call of Duty.
just Call of Duty?
Which one did you play?
Man, I don't even know. I don't know which one was. Black Ops.
Black Ops 2?
Yeah, it was just I don't know. That was the thing, My buddies back home getting online. Yes, sir. So,
Like I even play Black Ops 2 now, which
Yeah.
came out like 10 years ago, just
Yeah.
because it's such a fun game.
yeah, I just got revamped, and I haven't played that stuff, and now I'm just like kind
Getting
of
back
getting itch
into it?
again. Yeah, Like, this is a good one.
What else do you do in your free time?
Yeah, man, that's a lot. I'm still trying to figure out like my, this hobby stuff that I'm really trying to develop. But got dogs. I like pheasant hunting is like my passion. I love going out. I got 2 labs that we go out pheasant hunting. Spending time with my wife Jenna. We seem to always find ourselves a brewery somewhere.
Sure.
But yeah, just like, so we just bought a new house, so I'm just like, came with acres, and there's a lot of projects, and I just seem to get my hands into like 15 at one time and get overwhelmed because like, do this.
And you just got married, right? Not too long ago?
Yeah, November of 23.
Wow.
Congratulations. Just got back from your honeymoon?
Yeah, a year later honeymoon. It was. I just started in Douglas. I left Pope County on a Friday, started Douglas County on a Monday, and I got married on Friday or on
Wow.
Saturday.
Dang.
And then I went back to work Monday to make sure I get my training hours in.
How does your wife feel about you being a cop? Does she ever get like scared? I don't know, because if I was married to somebody or dating someone who was a cop, I'd be like, there's some risks there, you know.
I think in the last year and a half, that's definitely, her perspective has changed. It was never
Sure.
like, it was never like, hey, might not see you again. It was just like, hey, we'll see you in the morning.
Right.
And then that hit, and I think now it's like going to work's a lot different for her. she came on a ride along one time, and she always asking me for ride alongs, and I personally don't like giving her ride alongs because she asks about a million questions.
Like, what does this do? What does that do?
Like, why are you doing that? And then she's always waving to people, and So, but yeah, she's got the biggest heart. So she,
awesome.
She just waves at everyone as we drive by. I'm like, please don't do that.
Does she ever ask you to turn on the lights and just go super fast?
No, she shouldn't do that. She been on a few ride-alongs where we did go fast, and she was, if anything, she was scared. She's like didn't understand what some of the stuff is that we respond to. But yeah, no, she I think she enjoys it. I mean, me and her have had an interesting time together. Like, not very many couples go through what we went through.
Right.
But even today, we're still stronger than ever. She's been a huge support for me. Coming home to her every day is just kind of like, kind of a breath of fresh air when you have somebody that like her. So blessed that way. So
What was the relationship like between you and Josh?
I knew Josh. I didn't know him like terribly well. I didn't really work with him much. And then the full-time opening came. I applied, and Owen's like, I want him to be my partner, and I'm like, that's weird. I don't really know him, Well, I got the job, and I think I remember showing up for my shift with Josh, and I was never taught like how to properly dress. Like, got a belt, got a vest, and I was like, I think I wore like a tie with a short sleeve, and I didn't even have my mags in the right way, and boots weren't shining. Josh was like very big in his uniform, and he looked at me and corrected me pretty quick. And I found out later that he wanted me to be his partner. I'm like, why does the guy with like 13 years of experience want some dude who doesn't know what he's doing? Mm-hmm. We ended up being partners, and he taught me everything from how to. He took me under his wing. Him and another Glenwood officer took me under their wing, and it's kind of where I learned. 2 weeks, I did some FTO and then it was basically, know the county and kind of know what you're doing. Yeah, and
You're on your own.
then I was with Owen, and we just kind of, I think, and that's how I learn. Like, I don't learn I'm not a force it, shove it down your throat. Like, I gotta go through trials and fail and succeed to understand. And working with Owen, there was a lot of like helping and kind of pushing along the way. So he kind of taught me everything. And him and Cody Rupert with Glenwood Police, they're kind of my go-to guys. So Owen ended up partners for quite a while, or it was almost 3 years, I suppose. And then he got the canine spot, and then he went to with Karma, and he went to training. So I was without him for probably 3 months. I came back to the road, and then we're trying to get him, drug sniffs on vehicles. Where if you got stopped by Josh Owen, you really had to mess up. So
Sounds like somebody I know back there. Same way.
He was. It was usually a 25 over, and then he'll turn around on you.
Sure.
But then, it's me and Cody. We were pretty excited, and we'd go stop cars, and Josh call him if he was just kind of like our, kind of the guy that would keep us in line if we got out of line. And
Sure.
And then we shared a lot. We had a lot of good times together, a lot of fun stuff, fun calls, and then obviously fast forward through some other stuff to April 15th. That was, that's kind of a life altering situation, and it was just normal shift. The interesting part about that was like Jenna wanted to ride with me on Saturday, and I just was like, no. And then so she bugged me enough to where I let her ride along with me Friday night. But the plan was for her to come Saturday night. Decided I didn't want her to, and then she begged enough where I let her ride along with me Friday night. That would have been April 14th. And then, I was I don't remember honestly what happened, but it was a pretty low-key night. And then, checked on Saturday. I think I checked on 5 p.m. and Josh checked on at 6 p.m. And then, I think I checked on work, and pretty sure I made a traffic stop and a warrant arrest. And by the time I got back to the office, Josh was like, "Geez, settle down, And I'm like, "I'm done for the night. I got my,
I got
my guy off the street tonight." And and we just kind of hung out for a little bit in dispatch. And then he went home. It was his birthday, and he went home. And him and his wife Shannon, they birthdays are serious. It's a big feast of a meal. And yeah, he went home, and I was just sitting in the back, and I heard the 911 call of it was a third-party call of a domestic, and just something about that call. It was like, I looked back and I was like, I've never ran that fast to a call, but there was something goofy about it. I can't even remember what the caller said. But yeah, I ran lights and sirens there, and a Starbucks officer got on scene before I did.
Alex, right?
Alex, yep. And yeah, he just, in those small counties we get, they'll come and help out, and especially if it's a domestic. Yeah, he shows up, and yeah, he's code 4, everything's good. So I slowed down. Josh slows down. Josh is probably a few minutes behind me. Yeah, we get on scene, and I mean, I don't like using the word routine on anything, but like this one was so clean, cut and dry. Like, we were talking to the guy, and it was just like, I think we were smiling, laughing, and cracking jokes about his dog and stuff. And yeah, I took the female out and went and talked to her. Separate parties, pretty standard. Took her out, got her side of the story, and I had probable cause to make an arrest. And Alex had stepped out, and Josh had replaced him with the guy. And yeah, told her to stay in the room, and I just went and told Josh, yes, we're gonna take him into custody for domestic assault. And yeah, told him he was under arrest. And like I said, that was from there. It was just like so fast, but slow mo. But Josh was kind of the contact, so he went in to make the arrest, and I just kind of stood back and was contact. And yeah, I just saw the guy stand up, and he just looked at me, and I just looked down, and I see he's got a gun in his hand, and it was so quick, but I just saw it come up, point at me, and I'm like, kind of thought like, this is how I'm going out. And I just saw the muzzle flash and the bang, and felt the pain in my chest. Someone got my gun out, returned fire, and kind of got off the X, moved to the left, and I see Josh up there, and he's like walking back. I'm like, oh, we're good, And then yeah, that's when Josh, just tipped over, and he knew it wasn't good. So yeah, from there, it's just, we did life-saving measures on both, and got removed from the scene pretty quick. Had a lot of backup and help coming, and yeah, I got checked for injuries outside, because I thought, in tech school, they say just because you're shot doesn't mean you're dead. Mm-hmm. And I was in enough pain where I'm like, and I think I might have even been, I think it was just the adrenaline, but I was having a hard time like breathing and stuff.
Sure.
But yeah, I went to got rushed to the hospital, and so I got shot just right in the chest, just below probably like right here. And then I went to the hospital, and it checked me out there. And then once from there, it was kind of thrown into a cubicle, and can't talk to anyone, can't do anything, because I'm now a homicide, murder suspect. So I was just kind of sat in a room, and yeah, for a couple hours until my attorney came, and pretty standard, but that one was a little different, because I knew, where Josh was going. He was, heading down to the Midwest Medical Examiner's office. And so yeah, got a chance to say goodbye to him there. And but yeah, no, it's still probably a couple months ago. I couldn't even fathom the fact of saying this, but or like talking about it. But yeah, it's definitely a somber night. There's a lot of it still doesn't honestly seem real, if I'm being honest with you, because for a while there, they were still using a squad car, and I'd see it, and he had a Charger. And I still don't know why one of the biggest, strongest dudes I know was get this tiny little car and pack himself like a sardine, or in a sardines can in his car. And he just liked the cars. And but yeah, no, that's kind of, that's really just the gist of it. And there's a lot more to it, but that stuff is, but yeah, just from there, I got, my attorney came, and, he basically just tries to get an update and, see what happened. And I was pretty quick. And yeah, and then from there, I think, I had to get blood, because so I have to give blood. So BCA will take your blood and make sure I wasn't under the influence. And yeah, I had the option to give a statement that night, but I opted to wait until a couple days. And
right.
So yeah, it was. I mean, there's a lot of stuff I'm probably missing, honestly. But yeah, I mean, it was just a somber day, obviously, and my family found out on social media. I just talked to my mom on the phone like 40 minutes prior to that, and
Sure.
Yeah, can't remember exactly how where she was or what they were doing, but I know my sister found out. But they were talking about it originally came out as 2 officers down, 2 with 2 officers down with CPR in progress. That's what my mom saw.
Sure.
And she knows that there's only 2 deputies working in Pope County, so she was fairly convinced that it was me and Josh that were. And I don't like so there's so much kind of not accurate info that was going out. But yeah, it started out like possibly in Polk County and Crookston area, and then somebody's like, no, it's Cyrus, which is Pope County. And yeah, no, my mom there, if they were to share theirs was pretty agonizing, just like not knowing for quite a while what happened, like what my status was. And I know that still eats at them every day, just find out on social media,
Yeah, that's definitely not the first place I would want to hear it, as a parent or a family member, hearing it from the news first, because, I mean, you don't have time to call everyone and let them know. When you did get shot, was there any, like, health things that you had to go through afterwards, or?
No, we have a point-blank vest, and, what I just actually recently just learned this, I had a pretty nasty bruise and for a while, and I was kind of smart, but I decided to get a tattoo in honor of Josh like a couple days after, right over it, so that was pretty painful.
Yeah.
But yeah,
That's cool though.
There wasn't like, sorry, what was your question? You're talking about pain?
It was just about like health.
If you had anything done after, if it was like just a bruise.
Just a chest wall contusion. I was in pain for a while, like sore.
Sure.
But yeah, I mean, didn't feel it until 40 minutes after, and your body does incredible things in that fight or flight and that adrenaline dump. Because, I didn't feel it, and just to be under that amount of, like, go from 0 to 1,000 and still be able to do your job, and like, honestly, I don't know how, like, I was able to maintain and composure, honestly. So, but yeah, I know you probably know about training and experience. That stuff just kicks in, and I was honestly surprised at how that works, because all that stuff happened so quick, and I to this day I don't think I could draw my gun out of my holster any quicker, and can't really train for an ambush, and so you're just like, oh, freeze, and you're just got to determine, and if you guys ever decide to look into like use of force science and like the decision making,
it's
quick
incredible.
second, there's a lot of really, but no, for me, no injuries, like just besides the chest wall contusion, and I was out of the hospital in probably an hour maybe.
Okay. So following that, did you have any family members that didn't want you to go back? And
oh yeah. And that's because I had just mentioned, like, I was quitting right after, like, probably that night. I was like, I am done.
Yeah.
A lot of family were like, don't make this rash decision like this, and and I definitely thought about not going back, just because I was engaged at that point, like, gonna be getting married to Jenna, and it's like, I think that was like my 3rd time in the ER, maybe, because not a couple weeks before that, me and Cody from Glen pulled a burning guy out of a house, or pulled a unresponsive man out of a burning house, and had to go for smoke inhalation.
Jeez.
And then then the shooting, and then I was actually just recently in the hospital because I fell into somebody's backyard pool and sprained my ankle. So
chasing a guy?
Yeah.
Oh,
broke
gosh.
into some houses. And
did you continue after you went into the pool?
Oh yeah.
Really?
Yeah. Somebody just had a tarp pool. We got a little snow cover, and eyes on the guy,
Yeah.
And, just straight in the drink, hop out, cold, run through his house. Sorry, man, I fell in your pool, and and then we ended up going and catching him and getting him into custody. So
Sure. Do you have any questions on that day, Dad, or anything, or you?
I'm listening to what you're saying about when you were shot, and I'm looking at Josh's vest. Were you wearing an outer carrier vest that time?
Yeah, me and him would have had those, or that would have been his old one. But we had a newer vest.
Was an outer carrier style like that one would be. So when you described where you were hit, you would have the outer carrier on like you have there. So you're looking at how far down on your vest or how far up, what I would probably make more sense.
I have a photo.
So you can see that, but I mean, just to give perspective, how far was that? How far down was that on your vest, approximately?
A few inches.
I think it maybe an inch, inch and a half. And I think the funny part about that, or I shouldn't say not even funny, but like maybe a little before Josh went home, I was coming off a winter, so I packed on a little winter weight, and my vest was tight. I'm like, hey, can you just like loosen this and bring this down a little bit? And he's like, no, you got to keep this. He's like, you can't go this far down. And I'm like, I remember thinking about that like a couple weeks after, and I'm like, the Josh I know, he'd have been like, I don't care what you do, just make sure you can get to your stuff, stay tactical, and be smart. But yeah, him like, no, you got too much room up there, and yeah, he's tightened it up and brought it. He's like, helped me bring it up, and I mean, I don't know what it would have been like if it would have, what would have happened if I would have brought it to where I wanted it. But yeah, that was that. I know I've thought hard and deep about that. I'm like, God, what was that? Like, I don't know. There's a lot of things that kind of
happened.
Yeah, just like weird things that didn't normally happen leading up to that. And, took me a while to really start realizing it. But yeah, I was just in such a numb state of mind.
And all the things too, like that was inches away, but what if you were a little bit higher or a little bit lower? Your movement, where you're at in the situation, everything. I'm sure you think back to that plenty of times, and just.
Yep. No, I still have a lot of times where I remember staring down that barrel and I'm like, I don't know what happens, but I was fully anticipating that my time was up because, I didn't know where he was aiming, but yeah, I mean, yeah, it definitely still, eats at a guy just thinking about that, because in that moment, like, I'm like, I got to do something, but then I'm thinking about family, my fiance, it'd be devastating for her, my parents, my family, and so yeah, there's a lot of things that run through your mind in that short amount of time. I can't remember like the whole seconds, but I mean, there's 20 some shots fired in 3 seconds maybe.
Yeah.
Wow.
But you started out talking about your career and how you started and how exciting it was and the things that you did when you were first out on the road. What are some of the things that maybe you did that you'd like to share with us or like people to know, other than the excitement of being able to go out and run traffic and things like that? Had you had opportunities early on to do something significant to help somebody that really made you feel good and, hey, this is a good thing for me, I want to move forward with this, is awesome.
Like to help, like
deliver a baby, you just save a life, did someone go down, you did the Heimlich on them or something like that,
Yeah, I mean, I know there was a few, CPR calls I was involved in. I honestly can't recall the details, but I do know that there was one lady that we were on where she was having some chest pain, and I moved her from like a chair to another one, and she went full coat on me. We did CPR on her, and we ended up bringing her back. And I mean, I just remember like felt good, But to be honest with you, I think I didn't start like I always like helping people, but I didn't really understand like the actual like kind of what. And this, I was too excited. Like I just, want to stop cars, DUIs, all that stuff, find drugs. Still like to do that stuff, but it's like, just for example, like I, there was one that sticks out to me was a guy had fallen on the ice this last winter, and I think he ended up breaking his femur.
Wow.
And we're not really gonna move him because we're just gonna kind of keep him there, and it's cold out. He's laying on the ice, and I was like, looking, I went and got this guy's jet, kerosene heater, plugged it in, and just blasted a fan on him and covered him up in blankets, and then trying to stay busy. I started chipping away all this woman's ice, and she ended up writing a note to the sheriff's office, like thanking me, and so yeah, those feel good when you help. I've had other ones too. Like I can't honestly, I don't do the job for to like get praise or anything,
Yeah.
But ever since my incident, I have a different purpose, I think now, where like, yeah, I mean, I feel helping people means more to me now than it used to. I still like helping people, but like I said, I was just too excited, young guy that just wanted to go
Take
out and,
bad guys off the street.
yeah, just go out and change the world. And we don't.
I'm hearing you say is serving has a different meaning to you now than it did some time ago.
Yeah, it's definitely there's definitely I don't know what I know Josh was really big into I don't know if I sent you that story, but there was a couple days after he had passed, when he worked in Swift Falls, there was a veteran that Josh was suicidal, and Josh went and talked to him for like 4 hours and kind of talked him out and really changed his outcome of his life. But when Josh passed, this guy wrote amazing tribute to him and like what Josh did for him that night. Mm-hmm. And Josh was a big, strong guy. I mean, his arms were like the size of my thighs. Josh was spent quite a bit of time in Iraq, and so Josh has got a heart of I don't want to say serving. He just likes serving his country, serving his community. He was a big guy, but he was a big teddy bear, and
Sure.
yeah, he was. When I first met Josh, I was like, this dude's kind of scary, But yeah, he's one of the best, like all around, just solid, good people that were taken far too soon, definitely. So I don't know if that's part of it. Like, me wanting to be more like Josh and carry on his legacy, because he served with he's good. He just treated people good, and I think I'm trying to kind of transition into that more. I mean, I've always been nice to people, but now it just, like I said, serving with a different purpose. It's got a different meaning than it used to.
Huge thank you to today's sponsor, Giant Snacks. Giants is a small family-owned business that specializes in premium flavor and giant snack sizes.
From sunflower seeds, pistachios, pumpkin seeds, and cashews, Giants has all the great snacks you need.
Don't forget some of the great flavors that they offer, from dill pickle to sweet Thai chili.
Or whatever flavor you're craving.
Check out the newest flavor that just arrived in stores.
Big Easy cashews and Big Easy sunflower seeds.
Available now online or in a store near you. Huge thank you to Giant Snacks for sponsoring this podcast.
Now let's get back to the podcast. I think that's amazing. And something to highlight too, out of that, us as kids, as college students, a lot of other people have this look on police. You see them in your rear view mirror and you're like, crap. Mm-hmm. And then you're like, ugh. And it's like, you don't realize what other things that the police do. They don't just pull you over. Mm-hmm. All of those other things that you have done, that Josh has done, amazing for the community, and we don't appreciate it as much as it as much as it should be.
Yeah.
No, it's making a comeback. I mean, I know it's pendulum swinging, and I'm sure in your career you saw a bunch of this way, and I know the 2020. I was like, what am I doing getting into this? Because it was icky time and the anti-police rhetoric, but it's making a comeback. And I mean, like I said, I think people realize it's been tough for us. We running short. We're not getting real good candidates. And
Sure.
It's it's been a struggle, and I don't know honestly with everything after everything going through, but I'm still excited to get my squad car, and I'm there a few minutes early, still excited to go out and work. And I definitely think it. There's no doubt I was designed to do this job, and I have no plans on hanging it up or anything, because just I have a lot of fun, the brotherhood, and you don't get that everywhere else, or usually anywhere else. So
Yeah. So in talking to older officers, like the one behind the camera back there, we learned that when people go through this kind of situation that you went through, there wasn't too many resources back in the day to help go through and heal after. What kind of resources did you find that were available to you after?
Honestly, I struggled really bad because I didn't know about PTSD. I didn't have anxiety really, and I knew it was out there, but I was some young kid gung ho about the job, and right afterwards, my wife Jenna just started noticing I wasn't sleeping very good, and I was snapping at her a little more, and I wasn't aware of it. But I guess I was on leave for investigative for, maybe 3-4 weeks or so, and I had to get cleared by a, what do they call him, a mental health guy, where he just checks to make sure that, everything's working upstairs properly. And that went good. And then, I remember it wasn't long going back to working back on nights. I think one of my first calls was a 1-year-old baby that was ran over by a car that we had to do CPR on and ended up passing away. And, I think that one was one that was devastating and really broke me. And made me question, like, I don't know if I want to do this anymore. And, we can kind of wrap that in later on, but that's kind of the start of the whole, journey for me at that point. So.
Can you talk about the community's response to Deputy Owen's passing? What was that? What was that like?
Yeah. It was. I think the night that Josh, or the night after, there was like this thin blue line in the sky, which was just kind of weird. I think I sent you the photo. Maybe.
Yep. I'll pop that up right now on the screen.
And somebody took that photo, but just all these blue lights just started coming out of everywhere. Like our EOC just started becoming full of food and. It was literally one of the, you want to see the, positivity is watch, law enforcement come together and your community support you. Mm-hmm. I couldn't go anywhere without, I had people coming to my house guys dropping off $700-800, like, somebody help me, I want to help you. And food, my fridge was as full as it's ever been, and stop bringing me food,
Yeah.
And, it was a busy couple days, but even when I was working in Pope, until last November, still blue lights and still Owen signs everywhere. And that, quite honestly, that's one of the reasons I'm like, I have to get out, because it was just a constant reminder and, it wasn't.
Sure.
So the community was amazing. People just was at the gas pump and people were like, thank you so much and sorry for everything. But nothing, blue line flags everywhere. And,
what was it like at his funeral how many people were there? Countless people.
Yeah, it was a big one. They boys always show up for, fallen officer, but they really packed the house for that one. And, it was good. It was, my chief deputy, Nathan Breck, he's man of his words, or man of words too, and pretty powerful words. Honestly, the funeral is such a blur for me, because all I think about are bagpipes and this airplane flying in the air. And, I still, to this day, I still haven't gone. I refuse to go to a funeral because the bagpipes, they just hit you different. So, the funeral's powerful. It's cool. Just to see all the canines show up, and Josh was a canine, so all the dogs out there with their handlers, and it was just cool to see the love showing up for all law enforcement is coming together in the community.
And it wasn't just within that city too, right? Wasn't there law enforcement officers coming from all over?
Yeah, they came. I think Wisconsin. NYPD was there.
Wow.
There was a guy from Arizona. I can't remember where he's from. I can't remember what agency. But there's a lot of agencies that just have a unit to go and support at funerals, and it was super cool. A lot of holy cow, it's pretty cool to see the support. So,
how was that? Did you have a lot of people supporting you after, coming up to you at the funeral and stuff like that?
Yeah, it was, for me, it was honestly the support I had. People were flooding my house. Guys were just stopping over, and it was it's gonna be okay. Everything's gonna be good, And the support was incredible. It was honestly got to be too much. Everyone's like, "Can I do something for you? Can I do this?" And I'm like, "No, I'm good. I just want to be alone, honestly." And but it quiets down, and that's when things start to struggle, and that's kind of that's where a lot of stuff started, because it's the guys that were there, they got to get back to normal life. They got families, and kids to take care of, and I was, for the first while, I was like, this is good, I'm fine. It slowly started to catch up with me, and started to find myself lost. I don't know who to go to. I don't want to. There's a stigma and a generational gap with how you handle stuff. A lot of old time guys that are getting ready to retire, they don't talk about it. They lock it away. And I tried that, and a couple weeks I started drinking more and just to ease anxiety. And like I said, I had no idea about faith. I tried anxiety meds, bad, kind of different reactions.
Sure.
And I didn't like the way they made me feel. EMDR. The Fargo incident was what made me finally cave, and because that's when I realized like I'm struggling. That I finally went and saw our mental health therapist, Erica Overshiner, incredible woman. She's very devoted to helping law enforcement, and there's a lot of guys that she has intervened and really pulled out because she deeply cares and listens and provides a lot of resources. And
we'll bring that up. Remind me to bring her up after when we go into that. But talking more into Josh again, how do you think now that it's been over a year, how can we continue to honor what he did?
Honestly, I think what you guys are doing here, I was just talking to Josh's dad, Dan, yesterday, and you don't hear Josh's name as much anymore. And to me, it honestly kind of, it's sad. And I've always had the itch to do something with this, but it's, like I said, I kind of got to walk on eggshells because it's a fine line between, like, I don't want to glorify myself. I don't want to make the family mad. But I know Josh would want, to use this as a way to help new tech students or share my experience, so that way if somebody's struggling, like I can help stop them from going this way and divert them that way. I mean, I never felt that would be a position I'd be put in, but there's no doubt I'm being pushed to, help others, and it just feels good to talk to people and kind of guide them through or try to help them through. I still got some time to do before I can kind of got some things I got to work through before I can really do it. But yeah, I'm definitely feeling pushed that way. So,
what would you say your favorite moment between you and Josh was, either on duty or off duty?
Oh man, we some of the stuff is we had a good time. Just trying to we've had so many funny moments, and but I know one was just off duty. So we were getting a life-saving award for that house fire, and Josh Owen loves a good old IPA craft beer, Lupulin Hui.
Sure.
So we went down to Gulls in St. Cloud just to kind of get some, just kind of update our uniforms a little bit and look good for this event. And me and him decided to take a little detour down to, I don't even remember where the Lupulin's at, Big Lake, I think. Went and had a couple beers there, and me and him were like big into the Lupulin Huis, and he actually got me hooked on those, and I mean, they were good. Every day Josh gets off work, sends a snap, beer he's in his pajama pants within a few minutes of being off shift. But I think the one thing was, the funny story was the grog shop in Glenwood. Josh had sent me a snap of Lupulin had a Hui poster board there. And Josh is like, I'm going to get this. And so I actually went in there to try and grab it before. And she's like, oh, we have to have it for a couple days. And me and him fought over it.
Sure.
But he ended up getting it. And then after he passed, his wife, Shannon, was like, do you want this? I'm like, absolutely. And now I gave it to his brother, Matt, because it's pretty special to him, too. So, there's a lot of fun stuff that we're doing. And honestly, like, there's so many. That's one question I wish I would have thought of more. But we had a lot of fun laughs and good times. Like, another time was, working a snowstorm, big snowstorm, cars in the ditch everywhere. And Josh doesn't like to run. He's a big guy. It's a lot to run, but there was this guy that went in the ditch, and I think like pure blizzard, and this Josh follows some foot tracks from this guy, and he's buried himself in the snow to try to hide from Josh. And that was the one time where I saw him get pretty angry, and it takes a lot to get him angry. But yeah, there's a lot of good stories with him. Honestly, I could probably write a book the size of Harry Potter with Josh stories because just all around great guy, and there's too many. Yeah, I could be here all night talking about stories. So he's there's heck of a guy. So
Yeah, what do you want to say?
You've had an opportunity to spend quite a few shifts working with him.
oh yeah.
And he's your role model, your mentor. He's taught you some things over the years or over the time you've been with him. So do you see yourself when you do something now going, oh, that's how Josh would have done it? Or what are some things that you see yourself doing and you go, I think of Josh when I do this. This is how Josh would have done it.
Yeah, so Josh, I always thought some of the stuff he told me was dumb, honestly, you know?
Yeah.
But, so Josh always told me, he's like, know your stuff, like, learn how to get your gun out, because if you don't know it's a level 3, you got to push the hood forward and then hit another button back and pull out. And Josh was like, whenever you sit down, just play with that, break it in. Well, to this day, every time I get out of my squad, I'm probably wearing my holster out because that's like my fidget thing.
Oh, sure, yep.
But yeah, I'm always like, doing that. And I never used to shine my boots, and ever since Josh passed, my boots are pretty dang shiny. And I think I do that just because, he liked, this guy shined his boots like military guy. So his boots look really good. Yeah, there's a lot of things when I'm working, especially in Alec, like drive by the tech school and I see his photo out there and that thin blue line's just running right up to him. And there's lots of stuff that remind me of him. And but I've kind of been a lot of healing, which has allowed me to be able to talk about this. And
It definitely sounds like Josh was an amazing mentor to you and did a very good job. And
yeah, he like I said, there's no doubt that I wouldn't be here today working still if I wouldn't have had a guy like him, because he instilled a lot of good things in me, so kind of took me under his wing. So
Was there anything that happened after that incident where you were like, okay, now this happened too, I really might want to consider not being in law enforcement anymore?
Yeah, so like I said, I had that baby that was hit by a car, and that, for me, that one hit really hard. That was one of the first times where I actually cried, and that was so hard, and I didn't want to like go running to anyone because I don't want to feel like I'm weak, I want to make sure my partners know they can count on me. And I actually called my wife, or fiance at the time, Jenna, and I'm just like, I'm struggling, and she just was like, I think you just go say a prayer, and I'm like, what is that gonna do, because that was not my thing back then, and it was a rough night. I just kind of disappeared, and I pulled into the state park at like 2 a.m, and I didn't even know if I knew how to pray, honestly. I didn't know what I was doing, but whatever I said, I just had this huge peace feeling come over me, almost like a tingly sensation, and I was like, what was that, and I had it for like 2 minutes. I'm like, I want that again, but so basically, from there, I just kind of flirted with faith. Like, I didn't know how to keep it or understand it at all. I just kind of flirted with it, started looking in the Bible, and I was like, I do not understand this. Like, I think I remember telling my mom once, like, I read the Bible this morning. I was like, I'm actually having a really good day. And then, like, what do they call it? Lukewarm, or getting your Jesus shot. I'm like, I'm good for like a year, right? And then, it's just, things slowly just kept spiraling out of control. And I shouldn't say like super out of control. Like, I did a good job at hiding it because I didn't want to, show my wife that I was weak, and wanted to make sure I was reliable. And and then I think it was after that, the Fargo incident, which me and Andrew Dotis now are like best friends. But I had reached out to him after their incident. Like, me and Jenna were having a bite to eat, trying to just reconnect. And she's like, look at your phone? And I'm like, I saw it. And me and her both left our food and our drinks and went home, and just like, it was brutal. And then, a couple weeks after that, I went and saw Erica, and it's like, I need some help. And she's a great woman, and done a lot of good things for a lot of guys in law enforcement. But then a couple weeks later, I fought the urge to message Andrew because my inbox was full, and I was quite 100-some messages. I don't know who these people are, but I'm just like, fought it for days, and I finally sent a message, and a couple weeks after his incident, and he got back to me, and that started like one of the most valuable friendships, I think. Kind of didn't know I needed a friend like that, but
Can you give quick context to people who don't know Andrew, or just say like the situation he was in?
yeah. So Andrew was a Fargo officer that was shot and critically injured during July 14th. He was acting as a field training officer, and yeah, he was just gunned down working a car crash. And yeah, spent a lot of time in the hospital, and but yeah, from me shooting that message, me and Andrew are like, we have a very special friendship, and I always wondered like, how is this guy so like put together, and like just the guy smiles after what he's been through, and he always talked about faith, and I'm like, I don't get it, like what is this, and but yeah, ultimately that was just part like. Men of faith were starting to come into my life, and I didn't know it at the time. But yeah, me and Andrew would like, he's a great dude all around. Especially his situation, I couldn't imagine surgeries, and for him just to wake up with a smile, and he's back to work. I think he's actually heading back to the road here soon in the streets of Fargo, and he wanted to be here tonight. But yeah, just something came up where he wasn't able to. But I'm sure at some point he would love to be up here with me, for you guys to talk to him, because he's got a pretty powerful testimony. So
Yeah, we'd love to share that, and it's cool that even though this is a horrible situation that happened, something positive came out of it in you finding God, and so that's really cool to hear.
Yeah, just kind of from there, me and Andrew kept our relationship, and I started struggling with like the anxiety, and did many different things like natural, like tones as I go to sleep at night. Lavender pills. You name it, all natural. I'm more of a holistic guy. I don't like pharma meds or anything like that.
Yeah.
So I tried natural stuff first, and it got pretty bad, where I had to go on a pretty powerful anxiety med just to be able to go to these awards in DC. And I hid a lot of my stuff. I talk about putting a mask on, and I put a good mask on to hide it from. Because I was just don't want to be weak. I want to be a good partner, and I tried that EMDR, ketamine therapy. And that ketamine helped quite a bit, but I still wasn't feeling myself. And me and my wife Jenna started arguing. Like things were just starting to kind of. I wasn't in control, and I was just like getting, like I said, angry more, and to the point one time where she actually took off running out of the house crying, and I'm like, there it is, that's it. And she ran right to Erica, and then Erica is like, come here, you got to talk to you. And so yeah, it had a good support system. My mom's incredible, my sisters, and my wife Jenna. But yeah, it sneaks up on you quick if you don't take care of yourself. And I tried to do. I wanted to try jiu-jitsu, and my brain was, you got to take care of your brain before you can get into that. And so I just had to do it, and I just didn't know how. And but yeah, then just more people of faith started showing up. I sold a wooden bed frame on Facebook Marketplace. These guys were like, I'm going to buy it. They show up in my house and buy it, and where are you moving to? And me as a cop, I don't like to share that, but I'm like, Hidden Oaks, we're going to be neighbors. And like, no way. Now there's an older guy who goes to church. His name's Brent, but he's a big man, or he's a man of faith too. And great guy, and we're pretty close with them. And yeah, he ultimately, and a few other guys got me to end up going to church. And then I didn't realize how much I needed that. And yeah, and then ultimately led me to go to the Mighty Oaks program, which that was just from program you applied to and kind of share your incident, and you go there. So mine is in Ohio, but they pay for your flights and everything out there. But I just remember walking in, and like, no offense to anyone, but like I felt like I was walking into a psych unit. Just never seen so many broken men like these. It was really sad. And then, throughout the week, you just kind of hear their stories, their testimony. And by the end of the week, I mean, like, everyone's problems went away. It was just nice to, like, these guys are smiling, pulled from dark places. And all just by studying the Bible and finding God. And I'm like, holy crap, that was amazing. And, luckily some guys had I took a proactive approach to it. Those guys were a lot worse off than I was, but I like to think of it like that would have been me in 10, 15 years.
Yeah.
And I felt I owed it to my wife, Jenna, to, be proactive and kind of get a head start on it. But ever since I got back October 26th, no nicotine, no alcohol. I still love caffeine, but it's completely changed my life. And I don't even know how to act. There's not enough time in a day to really talk about just what all happened there, but it was good.
But within that group, through sharing your faith and sharing your story to all of these guys who have had not similar situations, but different situations, helped you.
Yeah, I think it, just realizing I'm not the only one that's struggling, and I know that was kind of a relief. But yeah, just hearing everyone's testimony, there's some people that did they were at, this was their last chance before they did anything. And there's some of the guys that we still in a group chat with. These guys are alcoholics that couldn't stop drinking, but now they've been back and just boom, booze gone just like that. And their marriages are restored. They're things are getting better for them. And to be honest, I didn't know what Jesus was before and God was, but after being there, I'm like, it's real. And
Isn't it crazy, the peace that comes upon you?
Yeah.
I've had moments where it's the anxiety is where I don't get consistent anxiety, but when I'm super overwhelmed over something or worried, and then it's say a prayer, give it to God, and then it's peace.
Yeah, putting on the armor of God and all that.
Yeah.
I had no idea what that meant. I would have literally thought that meant going to the store and buying a full on suit
The
with
old
all the
night
armor and
suit,
stuff,
yeah.
and wearing that around my house. But when I actually realized, I had no idea what the spiritual stuff was and what that actually does. And yeah, it's
incredible.
yeah, I had no idea about it. And I just feel for me, I don't know what this is. Now I come back and it's my responsibility to lead my wife into faith when she is way smarter than me. So I got a lot of work to do and trying to be knowledgeable about it. But yeah, my wife is great. She's just supportive of everything, and I know it's made our marriage and relationship a lot stronger. So
awesome. Anything on that, Dad or Aiden?
To highlight, how old are you?
29. Geez.
29, and you found God at that age. It doesn't matter if you're 12 and going to church with your mom or dad, or if you're 40 and no matter where you're at in life, you can find faith. And I think that's super important. And having that come from someone like you is huge for a lot of our viewers potentially.
Yeah, no, I was the furthest thing away from it, and not gonna lie, I was like, this isn't for me. I stuck it out though, and yeah, I stayed true to it. And yeah, like I said, I was a pretty broken before, and I hit it well from, but I was destroying relationships, everything. And yeah, just to come back and I think the biggest thing I learned there is to just be vulnerable and kind of have some humility. So for me, I just I took ownership of a lot of things, and told guys I struggled and I hid it from you. I have anxiety, and I just let it spill, and how freeing that was to get rid of that. And not a lot of guys do that, but I started seeing some shows where cops were starting to talk out about their mental health, and if we're not taking care of ourselves, we're not providing a good service to the community. So yeah, I'm passionate about making sure your brain's good, and yeah, I feel like I've kind of been through the whole thing with it, and been to pretty dark, pulled out, and tried many different things. And and I'm glad, like I said, I bit on a fish hook and I was being drugged to faith, and I just was like, I don't know where I'm gonna end up, but yeah, ultimately ended up to Alexandria Covenant Church, and like pastors were just super cool, and I mean, yeah, the church there, I get excited to go, and like if you'd have told me that, like, no, absolutely not. I would have found God in a tree stand or in the woods or fishing, but no, yeah, it was amazing, and like I said, there's work to do with it. I get to change some lifestyle, but it's allowed me to go into Mighty Oaks. Has allowed me to feel comfortable sharing this, because I struggle with like sharing this stuff. So I got my neighbor; he's praying for you all the time, man. And every time he hears sirens, he's like, "I'm praying for you." And just on the drive down here, some of the guys I got there, hey, I'm thinking about you today. I'll say some prayers for you, because this was I was pretty nervous about this, because when I was at Mighty Oaks, I was like, I'm going to be tough. And I said the words April 15th, and I cried like it was a woman watching a soap opera. And 20 minutes, I couldn't get it together, and I've never cried like that. And so, yeah, I was a little worried, like, I'm going to come here and just make everyone cry. But it feels good, like I'm confident up here, and I'm able to share this, because I've been wanting to do it. I've just been wanting to do it in a very honorable way to Josh, and a respectful way. And yeah, just a way to like make a positive out of it is what my ultimate goal is. So, but yeah, if you ever want to look, just look up Mighty Oaks Legacy Program. I mean, you ain't gonna get much info, but anyone struggling, have them apply, because it's life changing. So,
Sounds like you're on the right track.
That's awesome.
Yeah, a lot of work to do and to keep up, but yeah, it's I like a challenge. I'm a guy that can't just go into something like 50%, I buy a snowmobile. I can't just have a snowmobile. I got to race this thing,
Yeah.
And I can't just do this. I couldn't even just race in like the rookie class. I'm like, I want to jump up higher. I'm 0 to 100. So this Bible stuff is, it's tough to get into, but I made the commitment to, I'm not going to be lukewarm or just get that Jesus shot. Like this stuff helped me. And, I'm certainly not like out there, knocking on doors like, hey, have you read this, done this? Like, no, it's still a personal thing for me and my wife. It's, if I go to church and I talk to my dudes or talk to my guys at work and, try to tell them about what it's done for me. And, there's still a lot of guys that are like, it's weird when a couple months ago, they're like, I wasn't into faith. And now here I come back and I'm like, dude, go to church. And so, yeah, I just got to keep doing what I'm doing and just hope people see what it's done for me. And can't change people's hearts, but ultimately, yeah, one of my responsibilities is to bring people to faith. And
What would be your advice to somebody who kind of has a closed off heart from faith, and like you did before, how do you help others open up to faith?
That's I fought it, and I think everyone's going to be different. Some people don't have good church experiences, like I didn't. But my wife was kind of my driving. Like I needed to do something for her, but I was also surrounded by like some guys I looked up to that went to church, and they kept mentioning it. And like I said, I think it was God's plan, honestly, because I probably still would have fought it, But I was just being led there and by something, and like I said, I had people I looked up to that were going, and I remember the first time going, I was like, God, not looking forward to this, but I just remember like kind of being there, and just my wife Jenna was tears in her eyes, and it was like it felt so good, and like a restart, like it was such a refresh, and so yeah, I mean, obviously I work every other weekend, so I don't get to go every single Sunday, but I tried to, and yeah, it's been good for me. So,
Well, I don't have a question. I just have a comment.
Yeah.
So Jack asked the question earlier. How would you go about promoting Josh's legacy and everything like that? And us preparing this podcast was difficult. We sat down together, did our research. Jack's dad behind the camera helped us a lot with the questions. Thank you for that. But I just want to say it was hard for us, but I can't imagine how hard it was for you, and opening up and doing what you did today, talking about it. amazing. So thank you.
Yeah, it's been tough. You know, I think you guys. I've had a bunch of people want to interview me, and I'm just like, nope, I don't want to. And you know, like I said, I was pretty close to shooting you guys down, but when I saw that outline and you guys actually did your research, I was like, all right, these guys they kind of won my respect, and then obviously Claire too. I mean, they were so good to us after like the incident, and I think they brought us like some gift cards and let our dogs out and stuff. And so I was like, it'd be a good test run for me to see how I feel. And like I said, if everything goes good with this, and you know, like I said, I'd love to kind of keep helping you guys out or talking to you guys. And you know, like I said, I got. I know that the Burnsville guy, like, kind of cool to have like all three of us up here and just kind of a lot of good happening with it. But yeah, a lot of stuff that, you know, we don't go out and post on social media and all this stuff. Right. You know, I'm pretty private, and a lot of my good stuff that happens, I just between me and my wife, and you know, keep it down low. And but yeah, you guys did good, and like I said.
I hope we made this a comfortable environment for you, even though it's loud and everything out there. But
I mean, I was gonna get a beer, and I'm like, I don't even need one. So
awesome. Well, yeah, thank you so much, Brody, for coming and sharing your stories. And
I did want to share one because I did talk to Dan on the phone, and he not long after Josh had passed, Dan really struggled with it, and he was sitting on the couch. I think he was trying to take a nap or something, but his phone kept dinging, and he had an app called Newsbreak, and all these notifications kept coming, and so he kind of opened his eyes, looked, and he was having a rough day, but I remember he's saying, like, I need to hear something from you, Josh, and I looked at his phone, and he's like, Dad, I heard you today, and he's like, looked back at it, and he thought it was from Newsbreak, like that was on the main screen of the phone, and so he's like, maybe that was Matt that texted me, and no text from Matt, and that notification was now gone, but he's like, I know what I saw, and
wow,
yeah. So he's actually taking Josh's Chevy Silverado and repurposing it, and going to try to give it to his son Rylan at some point. And so yeah, Josh's family is incredible. Like, that's one thing I should mention too is they have been so good to me. Like, I think I'm almost like best friends with Josh's brother, and I didn't know him really before the incident. He's a pilot at Sun Country. And his dad and, you know, his family, it's like weekly talk with those guys. And, I'm blessed to kind of not have to worry, you know, about the family and, you know, things that happen. Like, they've been super supportive, and, just a great family overall. So
awesome.
Yeah, no, I think, like I said, thank you guys for doing this, because this was, I was worried about this today, and I struggled just with, like, am I going to cry, you know, and so it's felt good to kind of share it, so, because it needs to be shared, and more people need to share their stories in law enforcement, and I firmly believe that a lot of cops that retire and die at a young age is because this stuff just boils up after they retire, and all that stress of the job catches up to you, and and when I talked to Erica, our mental health, she's like, you need to share it, and we still put up this mask and this wall. Like, nope, good. So yeah, that's the way I'm going now, is I'm gonna share it for the right reasons, and not make it a negative thing, but share the positives out of it. So,
well, thank you for everything that you've done for us coming to be here, and in your community as well. Being the son of a police officer, I have only had probably one deep conversation with him about like what he's seen and everything, just because it's kind of like the mask thing, and I was young through his whole career. But no one knows what law enforcement officers see and go through except for the law enforcement officers. And so just thank you for everything that you've done and serving your community.
Yeah, no problem. Called to do it, and still love it, thankfully.
Yeah. Thank you to the City Brew Hall for allowing us to come and film inside of their restaurant here. They have the new barcade upstairs. There's arcade games and a ton of stuff like that. There's an area for 21 plus and minors. So make sure you come and check it out. And thank you to City Brew Hall for letting us come in here. Giant Snacks, thank you for being an amazing sponsor. We appreciate you guys. One thing we do at the end of every single show is give our guest one of these items, whatever you want. So which one would you want?
Definitely going to go with the salt. I'm always good for some more sodium.
Awesome. Well, thank you for coming on, and we'll see you guys next Monday at 6 p.m.
Peace.
Peace.
Real ones with me, I know we gon' beat the odds. Counterfeit, guess it from the thought of it. People fake, think they need to start a kid.